keep on toy hunting, baby. You know what time it is. Yep, it's time to go back to Forbidden Planet, my home away from home. Every time I go into central London, I gots to go to Forbidden Planet and spend money that I probably shouldn't do, but what the heck? That's why we have it. And every time they've got new displays, new items on show, especially when you first walk in here and you see all the high-end stuff. The statues, the hot toys, the Star Wars helmets, all the things that are going to attract the passers-by. These are the money beats right here. I mean, I love some of the Clone Wars type designs of characters that I'm not familiar with, like Darth Maul there with the robot legs. That's awesome. Spider Kitty from PS5, Miles Morales, Spider-Man. I dig that. I dig Spider Kitty. And that hot toy Spider-Man, oof. If I had an obscene amount of money, yeah, he would be mine. Venom, not so much. I mean, do I want to be reminded of that Venom movie? Not particularly. No, thank you. Still, it's better than Thor: Love and Thunder. Am I right or am I right? Come on. Now then, Green Goblin, however. Oh man, I love Green Goblin merch because people can reinterpret that character in so many different ways. That bust looks wicked, really cool. Now with Super 7, I've never had a Super 7 figure in hand, but people swear by them. People love Super 7s, and it's a high price point, so I've never seen them make anything where I think, I'm going to take the plunge on that. Maybe one day. Maybe for the right item, I might do that. Some little more phenomenal looking Power Rangers there. That's kind of quirky, the invisible sword. And Voltron. Voltron was never really a thing in England, but the mech looks wicked. I do love these Transformers, especially Thundercracker. I always just thought that was one of the coolest bot names ever. Thundercracker. That's wicked. And I love the mashups. Megatron Hiss Tank, wicked. Plus, I have a soft spot for RC too. She's pretty wicked. There was like a Bishouju type statue I saw of her a while ago, and I was like, oof, you're making me feel things. It's like, come on, Dave, it's a robot. Still, it's pretty wicked. Anyway, action figures. There we go. And unusual little curiosities. These page punchers. I'm not sure who they're for. Like, if you want a comic, buy a comic. If you want an action figure, like, these are like little sort of model-y things. I don't quite get it. But then again, it's only £10. So this could probably make like a good gift for someone who you want to get into comics, or you want to get into action figures. Like, this is a fun little, almost like a stocking filler in a way. So I kind of dig that, actually. Now that I'm saying it, I'm convincing myself. I think this is comics for non-comic readers and action figures for non-action figure purchasers. It's a good little gateway. Jeez Louise, £26 for a 3.75-inch Star Wars figure. No, absolutely not. Get back on that peg. Never sully my hands again. Speaking of which, oh my goodness, that Obi-Wan show. What a dumpster fire that show was. And Reva, oh, bless her heart, she's about as intimidating as a pencil case. Now then, the big style page punchers. This is what I'm talking about right here. Granted, it's DC, so I don't actually know very well who I'm talking about. I know this is John Constantine, and I watched Sandman. I binged Sandman, really loved the Joanna Constantine character. Fun little swap there, I dug that. This Batman, he's kind of cool, but looks like a little overly grim and stylized and like, ugh. Like, I wouldn't want to live in whatever world that Batman's in because everything looks grubby and kind of horrible, but there's a certain coolness to it, I suppose. Obviously, Black Adam is going to be like the guy for Warner Brothers and DC coming up soon, or at least as far as The Rock seems to be concerned. I'm kind of sick of Black Adam already, and it hasn't even come out. This Superman, he looks like evil Superman from Superman 3, at least the color scheme. The color scheme is that very muted sort of look, but his face looks very kind of porcelain and gaunt. I'm not a fan, to be honest. The more I see McFarland things, the more I'm like, dude, yeah, don't dig it. But I do kind of dig the Transformers. But again, I love the franchise of Transformers, but I'm just not a big fan of the transforming toys themselves. This dude here is a real curiosity. I don't know what this is from. I mean, it's a Diamond Select, but I don't recognize this robot creature. I think he looks cool. He looks really cool. Like, if you have a cosmic display, you could just put him in as a random robot. I think that's pretty wicked. and weird, kawaii, chibi Kevin Smith. I'm not sure what that's sort of related to, but there you go. There's something for everyone. More figures from Black Adam. Again, I'm interested to see the movie. I think this Hawkman here, the actual sculpting and design of this Hawkman, like, it looks pretty cool actually. I gotta say that looks quite badass. I give credit to that. Man, my mom is a huge fan of American Werewolf in London. She showed me to that she showed that to me when I was way too young. It scared the life out of me. Amazing film though. And speaking of favorites, Labyrinth. I adore Labyrinth. One of my all-time favorite movies. But man, these little statues here are expensive. Ludo weighs a ton. I mean, he should do for £60. That's a lot of money. I mean, he's an adorable looking desk toy, basically, or a little desk statue. And I think here, this Sarah one, the actual character design on Sarah is pretty wicked. I really like the look of that. It's beautifully sculpted, but again, they're just a little too pricey. If they were like $20, I'd think, yeah, fantastic, but that's a little too rich for my blood. This horse from McFarland, like, if you just want a random horse for, you know, either say Black Knight or someone, or Valkyrie, not that it's a Pegasus, but still, as a random horse, I think that's kind of cool. Now this looks like a big load of plastic rubbish. I'm sorry, Todd, but that looks like trash. That just looks like ugly, cheap, crappy plastic. It really, really does. And for 50 quid. For 50 quid. Yeah, he's big. That doesn't mean he's good though. And like, look at the figure on the back. Look at like the artwork. The artwork looks kind of cool. The artwork looks kind of badass. But that just looks so. It looks like something you'd buy at the beach in Spain or something. Like, no thanks. Speaking of no thanks, Funko Pops. Nah. You're all right, mate. We'll move on from there. Princess Bride.
Hello, pretty lady. Anybody want a peanut?
Wow, Andre, what did they do to you? That's not a good-looking Andre face. That's, oof. Yeah, that's a little bit rough. How does Princess Buttercup fare? I don't know. I'm not sure. And it's not terrible. It's, yeah, I'm not going to rag on it too much. It's not great, but again, it's a, you know, sort of 7-inch scale action figure. You're not going to have like a Hot Toys likeness. That's just me being a snob, which is like, come on, Dave, you're better than that. Wow. No one wants a movie Scarlet, it seems. Then we got a Tomax, or whatever the other one is. Zamot? No, that's Tomax. There you go. And this is one of those G.I. Joe characters where I was like, you know what, Dave? You don't got to be a completionist. You don't need to get everything. This is one where I'm like, I don't need this guy. Just generic looking dude? Nah. The Cobra officer here, I think he looks nice. He's a nice redesign, a nice repaint of the existing Cobra Troopers, but not different enough to warrant getting, I don't think. I've got a few troopers. I'm really happy with those guys. I don't need a slightly different colored one, so that's okay. And Spirit, I've got Spirit. I love him. Spirit's definitely, he's a highlight. Baroness looks kind of cool. I'm lucky enough to have the Baroness from the motorbike set. I don't have the bike, but I have the Baroness, which was a gift from a friend of mine. It's very, very kind. I really love that figure. And this is a funny one. The retro packages you would expect to be like slightly better, but I feel that this one has less paint than the original. I really don't like a lot of their backpacks, because all the backpacks are just molded plastic, no paint, no color, no nothing, and it just looks like a big blob of green blue tack on their back. Speaking of, state of your action figure, mate. Look at that. That's not good, man. You could say that's a very stylized turtle. Yeah, if the style is bad. But these, oh my goodness, the NECA Gremlins. I'm so tempted by this set in particular, because this is 1990 to me. I went on holiday to America and bought a magazine, and it had all these features on 1990s movies coming out, and Gremlins 2 was one of them, and I remember seeing like these images. This is just pure nostalgia. So tempted by that set. I think they're just beautiful, those NECA Gremlins. Oh, and then we've got, I forget this gent's name, but he's one of the new releases as well. But again, for me, a bit too generic. Just like generic army dude, I need something a bit more interesting. That's why Spirit, was great. So was Outback and even Barbecue, unusual characters. If it's just a generic army dude, nah, not so much for me. And see, this is very much a original Gremlin from the first movie. And the first movie still scares me, because it scared me as a kid. So I prefer Gremlins 2, where they're a bit more wacky looking. And the Brain Gremlin, again, that's another one where I was like, so tempted. Again, he's expensive, but there's so much going on there. I dig it. I really, really dig it. You got the classic style Ninja Turtles. This is taking me straight back to the 80s. I mean, I didn't have these figures. I didn't have many figures when I was a kid. I mean, I was, I had a charmed childhood, but I just didn't have many toys, many action figures. My neighbor did, though, so I got to play with his. And this is the different line. I forget the name of the manufacturer, like BES or something like that. They just don't look great to my eye. The NECA figures, they just look gorgeous. But again, so expensive, man. But look how bright and chunky and colourful these guys are. I dig them, but that's nearly 100 quid. Nearly 100 quid. Absolutely not. No. And look, again, these two guys, the bat dude and the mosquito guy. But again, 75, 76 pounds. But this was one I actually wanted. Anthrax, the guy on the left, I just thought they both looked so cool. And actually, this set is reduced as well. I was a little bit tempted, but not tempted enough to buy it because it's still very expensive. But just look at the details, the colours, the designing. I love what's gone into here. Yeah, £40. £40 for those two. 20 quid each? That's actually a really good deal. Man, the more I think about it, that was a really good deal. That won't be there when I come back. Oh well, it is what it is. You can't buy everything. What did I just release a video on? The fact that you shouldn't buy everything. So I'm glad that I could walk away from that, but that was kind of tempting. I got to say, that was kind of tempting. Now we've got the other side of the cabinet here, and there's some nice looking stuff. You've got, this is interesting how DC McFarland decided to release these guys in a multi-pack. So they released them all separately with the Build-A-Figure and then just put them all together. But it's a nice looking set if you don't have any of them. Some grim and gritty, just Batman being grim and gritty. That's what he does. Well, unless he's, being goofy from the 60s. And then there's this huge set, £400, which I'm guessing is just hardback books of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Those are some expensive books right there. I'd be hard pressed to justify that to myself. I gotta say, and some random mech and Gundams and whatnot. I do love these robot designs. They're cool. And my other love, pro wrestling, the New Japan figures. Again, if I was tempted, if I could be tempted by some of these, but again, they're so expensive. So expensive. $55. Oof, it's a little too rich for me, but it is nice. But again, when you're doing human likenesses, it can be a bit difficult. And there's 70 quid for this Super 7. I think it's Super 7, Papa something or other. I think this is from some rock band, I think. I'm so ignorant, but he looks really cool. He looks wicked. Speaking of cool and wicked, Lego Optimus Prime. Oh, good Lord, I could have some fun putting that together. Now, Spider-Man Beyond Amazing 60th anniversary. Again, there are some gems in here. I mean, take a look at that Iron Spider. I was always tempted, but not enough. Again, not for the big price tag. That's 40 quid. Get out of here. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm just banging on about prices. I'm gonna stop doing that. Let's just look at the nice, funny things and awesome things and badass things, like a badass Carnage. Look at that. There you go. Stop ruining this with your price taggery, Dave. Not when you've got a. Is that? Who makes that? DX? I'm not too sure who made that Hulkbuster. There's my Thanos. I love my Thanos. So many people hate Mezco Thanos. I'm there on Thanos Island, loving him. The infamous Wolverine 5-pack, which is, look, I gotta say, seeing that 5-pack in person, Omega Red actually looks badass there. And I gotta say, Toad looks a lot better in person than I was expecting as well. I find Marvel Legends, they just don't photograph as good as they look when you got them in hand. There's War Machine. Looking at him there, I thought, oh, you're so pretty. You look like 90s Marvel vs. Capcom War Machine, and I was definitely swayed and taken by the beautiful card back. The card backs just tweak. They tweak your nostalgia nipple, and you're like, I can't resist you, man. This is adorable. Little Deadpool for his little childhood murking service. I think that's adorable. Really, really cute. Again, as like a desk toy type thing. Ugh, Snoke. Anyone remember that? Anyone remember the Star Wars sequels? Nah, me either. That Jabba's wicked though. I dig that. A random Storm Shadow in there with Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Why not? But Skeksis. Please, yes. Again, Dark Crystal, man, scared the bejesus out of me when I was a kid. Those puppets are absolutely terrifying. But I hear the new Netflix show is quite good. Now, a little bit of Star Wars Black Series, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a rabbit hole I never went down. And I think it's something I have to confess that I think some of these characters, just the designs, like Clone Trooper 18,000, like he does look pretty cool. Just as like an armored dude, he looks pretty wicked. I think the entire concept of the Clone Wars and whatnot is just so freaking stupid, making them all clones. It's like, why did you limit yourselves like that? Let's make our good guys all clones. That's like, ugh. And the people, defenders of it, are like, oh no, but they're already different. Some of them have short hair. Some of them have an eye patch. It's like, okay, fine. Sorry. Nearly got onto a Star Wars rant there. I'm sorry, man. It's only because I used to love Star Wars. It's because I used to love Star Wars so much. That's why it hurts. But still, I'm waiting for the Andor show to win me back over. Tell you what, though, that Mace Windu from the Grendy, how do you pronounce his name? Grendy Torovsky animated series, that was wicked. And this Saw Gerrera, I love all the tubes and pipes and ties and all the ropes and things on him. He was a cool looking action figure. Again, credit where it's due, man. Give credit where it's due. There was some nice stuff. There was some good stuff there, but just so much. So much. And like that Jawa, like a little Jawa was like $30 or whatever. It's just, it's a bit much. Look at me going back to prices. I'm sorry, but like, what else am I going to comment on? Otherwise, this would just be a silent video, which you might be like, yeah, Dave, that'd be lovely. I muted this thing hours ago. NECA doing what they do best, horror movie villains. That for me, Friday the 13th Part 3 Jason, that's the quintessential Jason right there. However, I gotta say, Freddy vs. Jason is one of the coolest designs of Jason. I think they just got the look of the character really down there. For me, it's that one and the Platinum Dunes Jason that I think are the best. The NECA aliens are they're alright, but I think they're a bit generic now. And when you have it on a shelf, like, it does look kind of cool, but also, it's dark. It's all the same sort of color scheme, so it just looks like a blob of plastic. That's what I found when I collected a few aliens. I was like, they just look like a mess of plastic. There's nothing to pick out or differentiate. So, yeah, that's why I kind of didn't get too into those. Predators, though. Predators are more fun. They have more going on. It's more interesting to look at on the shelf. Nearly a life-size Chucky? Absolutely not. No, thank you. I do not want that in my room. Man, I remember how annoyed people were when Black Kastatin, is that his name, was announced, and they were like, you just repainted Chewbacca. That's not the character. But yeah, the Fireteam Elite, which I hear is a really good game. That's what these aliens are from. But I don't want to bang on about prices, but over $50 for one of those, that's a lot, man. That's a lot of quiche. I do love their Universal Monsters line. The amount of detailing that goes into those, the paintwork, like that is beautiful. Because the aliens just look like they've just had a dry brush. Like, that's pretty much it. Whereas the Universal Monsters, there's so much love that has gone into them. I super dig those. And of course the Predators as well. They haven't got many Predators there on display, but I do like the look of those. And then these are the smaller aliens and Predators as well. And then we've just got some Lord of the Rings stuff. I don't dig Lord of the Rings so much. And Masters of the Universe. This is a line that, like, I respect, but I don't know much about. You know what I'm saying? For me, this is beautiful nostalgia. Like, this takes me back. but I prefer the more contemporary designs like this. Is it Scareglow? That's it. I think he looks kind of cool. I dig that figure. But it's just, it looks a little too toyish. Same with Transformers. I mean, Transformers the movie, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm not saying it's great, but I just dig it. Galvatron, amazing. I will rip open Ultra Magnus. It's like, oh, it's so cool. What a great villain. I want to do a watch along with Transformers the movie because it's just an all-time favorite of mine. Now, finally, I'm going to go and take you along to the Legends section, the Marvel section. Get out of my way, bozo. And we can check out, yeah, there you go. Push that guy to one side, just elbow him in the ribs. Sorry, but we're toy hunting here. Now then, they keep the Legends in the back corner for some reason. I guess that's because they're quite popular. So therefore, people to see them got to walk through the whole store, see all the other good stuff. Smart. They always have good things on the top shelf too. It's nice being 6'3". You can reach up and grab them. And then we've got Ragnarok. Why they didn't put a normal Thor head in there? That was just mean. And they have a good range of selects, including Immortal Hulk. Yes, that was a guaranteed purchase. I didn't think we were going to get him in the UK. Simple as that. I did not think we were going to get him in the UK at all. And seeing him there, it's like, holy potatoes. Yes, it's a happening. Absolutely. Because he looks so much cooler than he appears in pictures. Just so big and hefty. And this is a really cool looking Thor as well. I love this design of his costume where it's all harkening back to the classic, but just made to look more not even modern, but just more practical. This thing though, the state of it. Look at this guy. He weighs a freaking ton. He's like a bowling ball. No, absolutely crazy. And this goblin, I love the face sculpt. I think that looks terrifying. That's almost more like a Joker kind of thing. Very maniacal, but just too big to scale with Legends. It's like, dang it, Select, always insisting on your 7-inch scale. Why? Why you gotta play us like that, Select? You're playing yourselves, guys. Just make it scale better with Marvel Legends, and that's great. Thor Love and Thunder, don't need any of that. The not controller, the Bonebreaker wave is kind of cool though. And yeah, they just got a little mismatch, the old Fantastic Four there as well, but nothing too exciting. But we saw they had the Beyond Amazing line as well, so they've got a pretty good selection of all the modern current Legends there. All the various McFarland DC figures. I don't know, man. There's just such a weird inconsistency with sizes and proportions, I find, with a lot of these McFarlane ones. They haven't found a uniformity yet, I don't feel. Some of these Fortnite figures, I think, are kind of fun. Like, I love this disco dude. I think he's kind of wicked. And then, this was one, Ragsy, I've been really tempted to get. But again, it's a little bit more than I want to pay for just like a quirky figure. But just having this cool, weird assassin mercenary with a teddy bear head, like, I really like that. I think that's wicked. If I ever see her going cheap, I would probably pick her up. And then, this thing again. Like, if he wasn't so expensive, I would buy him just to rip on him in a savage review, but not for 50 quid. There's a Spawn in the throne, which I think a lot of people like to repurpose that throne for all kinds of characters. That works really well. Haunt, who I'm not familiar with, but again, like, some of the McFarlane proportions I find a little bit funny. Like with She-Spawn here. I know, you want to have that thigh gap, ladies, but geez, not like that. That looks weird. That looks like how I used to draw people when I was a kid. Bloody Violator looks badass. I gotta say, well done, McFarlane. Boom. Again, when he makes monsters, he makes great monsters. Except, again, Cygor was still a bit of a disappointment. I still would love to pick him up, and I can see he's gone down in price. He was $50, now he's down to $40. Maybe if I just wait a couple more years, when he gets down to like 20, that's gonna be my time to strike. But not before then. I'll hold off till then. And then that's pretty much most of the toy section covered, I think. Yeah, there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. And that is Forbidden Planet London.
enjoy this episode, my child? Well, wait a minute. Ah, that's better. Did you enjoy this episode, my child? Well, if you did, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. But if you want to really support the channel, then you can go over to patreon.com/displaying model behavior and toss a couple of bucks Dave's way. Or you can join the YouTube channel member section, where you can enjoy all the same videos and have nice little icons next to your name when he does live streams. Yes, lovely. Or, on top of that, if you want more model behavior, you can join one of Dave's 2 other channels. There is Displaying Miscellaneous Behavior, where he just rants about stuff, and also Model Behavior Wrestling, for all your wrestling needs, I guess. All right, go do that. Bye. Yeah.
Cup of coffee.